Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. I'm trying a new mic today. We'll see what this is like. Hopefully it's working. I did a test. It's February 11th, 2024. Hopefully some of you will consider watching my February 10th videos, Goober the Traveling Bear and the Chuckleheads. We traveled over 700 miles. We went to Fort Pitt, Braddock's Battlefield History Center, Fort Ligonier, Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum. That was fascinating. I need to get back there and see Mr. Tim Neff, the Vice President Director. We made some donations, and Goober gave the Braddock's Battlefield History Center team, Sean and Matt, $562. As you watch my videos, please remember, I'm just an old guy with a goofy stuffed bear idea, but every month I take my YouTube money and I donate it to a small museum. So when you watch these videos, believe it or not, you are actually making a donation. This month it's going to the American Friends for Lafayette. So, as you know, we worked on the Confederates. We got them pretty much based and flocked. So now we're going to do our Union troops. And Mr. Bruce sent in a long letter about the butternut and all of that for Confederate uniforms. I thought it was so good I made that one video about it. Hopefully you'll consider checking it out. All right, so a couple days from now, I'll be at the Williamsburg Muster. I hope to see a few of you. But we're going to take our E6000 and we're going to start gluing figures to bases. And we'll chit-chat a bit. Hopefully you won't get bored. And that's about it. So I'm going to move this tub over here. And the first thing I'm going to work on gluing to is to these bases is our Zouaves. So we'll get working, and so we're doing 4 figures to a base, and really appreciate so many wonderful notes. And also I appreciate the people that think maybe this isn't the best idea either. But for me, I'm quite happy with this. You know, there's been times I've just felt like, you know, getting out several hundred 54 millimeter figures that are based individually is sometimes a bit of a chore. So doing it this way, I'm really thinking I'm going to use my Civil War figures more. And now I had some people, some great gamers, I had a couple people say, oh, you should use different poses on each tile to make it look more realistic. And then I had some people saying, oh, you should use the same poses for each tile so they're perfectly uniform like parade ground. Well, I appreciate everyone's input, and I'm just happy someone watches my videos. And I'll be honest, I'm not really paying a lot of attention to what figures I put on these. I'm just putting them out there, if that makes sense. And so hopefully people are going to enjoy watching my channel. And the whole idea is just to make these a little bit more playable. Now I have a leader there, and I'm going to keep him, and I have a couple extra figures I'm going to set to the side along with an extra leader. I have an extra leader that really I could use for French Foreign Legionnaire along with the other two Zouaves. So, all right. Well, we have one Zouave unit based. I have no idea what kind of noise it sounded like. Trying out this new microphone. All right. So, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Really like to go to 5. So, we're going to remove a figure. And we're going to put a... Alright, I messed up, everyone. I got glue all over me. Alright. So, there we go. And I gotta stop the camera. We have goo all over me. Okay, welcome back. Well, sort of messed up with the E6000. Got it all over my fingers and started gluing my hands. And so, have you ever had a glue mishap? Well, there is a 5 base unit now. And I think I'm quite happy with that. So our Confederate uniform discussion last time was about how the different styles of tan, butternut, browns, and even the grays coming out of the different mills, and the Confederates having issues producing uniforms. So the Union, they don't quite have that same problem. Now, I'm looking over my tub of figures, and one of the things we'll look at doing is we're gonna build, I think, this unit first. I would think everyone would know who that is, but we're gonna, before I build them, and yes, it's the Iron Brigade, which would consist of, oh my goodness, help me out, the 2nd, 7th Wisconsin, was it 19th Indiana, 24th Michigan, and I know I'm missing somebody, but anyhow, we're gonna put the Black Hat boys together, if that makes any sense to you out there. And I think Jim Shaw painted a couple units of the Black Hat boys for me. And you know, right now I'm going to tell you, when I get these all together, this is going to be fantastic, because right now it's a pain even finding these figures for the Iron Brigade. Oh, yeah, this will work out nicely. And got a couple different sizes of figures, so I will try to keep them as much as possible together in that sense. So there's this size Iron Brigade figures, which are probably more like a 52 or not quite 54. And sometimes the Armies and plastic figures, they're actually a little bit bigger. So, but right now we are digging out all the Iron Brigade guys, which is a chore. So, the Super Bowl will be on later tonight, and of course, living in Baltimore, everyone was very upset over the Baltimore Ravens not going to the Super Bowl. So, But such is life, and there's always next year. So, well, the Iron Brigade units are coming along. We're going to start gluing them down. And so I'm sort of surprised at the how the Union, everyone had all kinds of fun and exciting uniforms in the very beginning of the war, of course. And if you're watching this video, you know that there was blues and grays and all kinds of fancy jackets and the Zouave units and so forth. But as time progressed, all of that, of course, went away. But so we are building our Iron Brigade units. So I believe the 24th Michigan was a relatively new unit to the Iron Brigade, but they still fought gallantly. So there we go. Coming along quite nicely, I think. And we will have the Iron Brigade up and running. There we go. It's quite a chore putting all these units together. So now the trip, by the way, was a bit exhausting. We traveled from Baltimore to Braddock's Battlefield History Center, and then from there we went over to the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum. That was an incredible place. Sadly, I never even heard of it before. Is built for the Grand Army of the Republic after the war. It held over 2,000 people in its auditorium, which is incredible. So if you're in Pittsburgh, that's a must-see place. And then after that, we got lost a bit. We got lost in Pittsburgh trying to get to Fort Pitt. And laugh as you like, we kept driving by it on a highway bridge above it, but we couldn't seem to quite get to it. It was sort of funny. But we did make it after the fourth attempt, and Walt Leach, our trusty leader, was the one who really guided us in. So that was, and then Fort Pitt was very, very nice. That fort, you know, they have the model there, the diorama, and you can see it in my videos. But my goodness, it had to have been a stunning, stunning fortress when it was fully built. All the bastions and everything, quite impressive. So I hope if you are in Pittsburgh, you can hit the Fort Pitt Museum. Well, after we left Fort Pitt land, we took the hour drive to Fort Ligonier. We had no issues finding Fort Ligonier, by the way. We did good on that one. But we did it was really nice because Fort Ligonier actually had the fort open, which during the winter they don't always have it open. So that was really a nice thing too. And The staff there at Fort Ligonier, by the way, they're just phenomenal. Cindy and Candy, the gift shop managers, and everyone that works there, just phenomenal. And it's so nice to visit these museums, and everyone is so nice from site to site. So we had a very nice time with at Fort Ligonier, and then we went up to see Norm, who has the Toy Soldier Gallery of Ligonier, Pennsylvania, and that place is just jam-packed full of toy soldiers. And to the point that, you can watch my video, you'll see it's almost impossible for me to have videoed it very well because it's so jam-packed. I couldn't show. And then someone even already wrote, wish they had board games, and he had a ton of board games there. And they're in plastic tubs stacked to the ceiling. Just so impressive. So we have our Iron Brigade almost built. The Iron Brigade, I think I'll have enough figures to do really 2 20-man units. I won't be able to do the whole Iron Brigade and what I can do in my wargaming world, but close to it. And so hopefully you're watching this and saying, boy, that's a lot of 54 millimeter figures, which it is. And I really enjoy the 54 millimeter stuff here. So it's an interesting scale because, as we all know, H.G. Wells started off with 54s. So we'll take a break here for a moment. I'm going to go get a soda. All right, welcome back, everyone. So I'm going to only do this for an hour or so, but I probably won't make you watch an hour's worth of me gluing figures down and just gabbing away. So would like to hear from somebody what they think of the Iron Brigade, and if they were as good as everyone says. I believe they were, from what I've read in different books and also in many war games, that feature the Iron Brigade. I know McPherson's Ridge, for example, they classify the 24th Michigan as a B ability, and the rest of the units an A. So they don't, consider them being green in that sense. So a couple of these are here and there are the Chris Palmer figures, and of course many of these were painted by the great Jim Shaw of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And yes, I mention that often because I'm very appreciative of his daughter and his painting skills, because granddaughter, I think it is, granddaughter that paints for me. And they do a wonderful job. So the next chore will be to flock all this. It's amazing once you flock these how much more they even pop out. They really just jump out at you when they're flocked. And I'm just randomly grabbing figures, by the way. So if you're wondering, I'm not really going out of my way trying to find the same type of figures or styles. Right now I've just been grabbing a lot of figures that are firing standing up. I didn't even really realize it till now. All right. And we just keep building unit after unit. So, I have a question for everyone out there. This is for all old timers like me. You know that the 6mm stuff. You know, there are a lot of people playing in 6mm anymore. You know, talking to Ron, the Pretzel King, yesterday, Ron Prowman. We actually talked to him while we were driving, on Bluetooth, of course. But we were discussing how that 6mm stuff is really taken off. And I guess you could play large battles with it. Massive entire Battle of Gettysburg in a very small area. But I don't think I could even see those figures, let alone paint them. I can't paint good to 54s with my eyesight issues. And I bring that up constantly, and I don't mind if I do. Please make sure if you're having any eyesight issues, you do get it checked out. Very important. So I'm hoping to have all of these based. That rifleman does not look good there. I don't know if you saw that, but I was trying to put a rifleman directly behind a flag bearer, which would have looked bad. There we go. So let's see what you're seeing. Not bad. I'm wondering if this new microphone is working. I did a test with it. It seemed to be. But it'll be frustrating to have recorded this and have it not be working. But it is what it is. So, the 6mm Baracus figures. And all the 6mm and the 3D printed 6mm. I know Walt's doing stuff in 6mm, I think some kind of galleons or something. For me, I just couldn't see them. But so I think I don't know if that's a trend. I remember at one time everyone was buying Flames of War stuff. It was a big deal when everyone was doing Flames of War, and now you don't really see Flames of War so much anymore. I don't know why, but it's not as popular as I think the bolt action sort of pushed it out of the way a little bit. And bolt action is a nice system to pick up gaming with, so I can see why that happened. Oh, but I'm building units like mad. I'm hoping to have a fairly decent sized 54mm army for this scale, to be used with hot lead and cold steel rules by Arthur van der Steur. I don't know if I've ever pronounced his name correctly, but that might be close. So, boy, these are coming along pretty good. So, if I had my friend Jack Brendel from the old Gettysburg group, he'd be doing putting these together for me in half the time. But So we discussed the 6mm Baracus figures. And then, of course, one of the other big things that's changing our hobby is 3D printers. And, you know, Josh has just finished up the last of my 54mm Fort William Henry. So when I pick up those walls in the next week or two, I'll put them together, paint them, and I guess April we will have the giant Fort William Henry game. I don't know where. The damn thing is huge. Sorry about the word damn. But the Fort William Henry, my idea of having it 3D printed to scale in 54, it was a great idea, but I don't know. It's like 6 feet across. It's huge. All right, I gotta stop the camera and make some more room for more troops. All right, we're back, and so let's see if you can see this. Yep. All right. So we're just gonna keep on gluing. Hoping to have all these glued and ready to go for flocking this next week, but I probably won't get to it because I have the Williamsburg muster to go to. So the chuckleheads will be there in force, and that would be great. And I'm just really amazed at how the war games and these conventions are still plugging along. You know, we had the hiccups with COVID, like everyone did, for all kinds of activities, but you know, it didn't really disrupt things that bad. By the way, the tiles again, Amazon 4x4s, they are just, and they're really inexpensive too, so they're not costing an arm and a leg, and it's a lot easier than cutting out cardboard, if you're thinking of that. Oh. By the way, someone asked me why I didn't take all these figures off the poker chips. And that's a great question. Well, the reason is I was too lazy to do it. It would have taken me days to soak these, pry them off these poker chips, and many are already pre-flocked, and then I'd have to reflock them. And I don't know how, you know, the E6000 is such a strong glue. I was also very concerned about bases breaking. And let's be honest, if you didn't want to play one of my war games because I have some round poker chips underneath the figures on the tiles, probably my rules wouldn't be what you wanted to play either. So, but I think most war gamers, in all honesty, are very kind and forgiving people. And I think there'd be nothing said about it. Once I explained my reasoning, it wasn't like I intentionally put them on poker chips first and then put them on these tiles. Oh, I forgot. Somebody has asked me what the deal is with scoots. You know, I've made, I don't know, probably 600 videos by now. And if you haven't, I have some connections to scoots from very, very long time ago, years ago. But I won't go into that. But Gary Ward, who owns Scoots and Olivia's, his father passed away, but he was the principal and main history teacher, and just a great man. I've never had the honor to meet him, but he really promoted history in his school district. And Gary Ward, the owner of these two restaurants, he has supported my Goober videos. He's made donations for me for museums. He's never asked to be really in any way recognized. He's backed all my Kickstarters, and he's not a war gamer. So what do you think of that? And he does it in the name of for his father and his memory. So Goober the Traveling Bear and I try to make sure we promote his restaurant, both Olivia's and of course Scoot's. So in fact, the middle or high school in Matthews, Virginia is named after his father. I think it's the auditorium, and there's a sign out front across the building, in fact, with his name. And Gary Ward and his wife Karen, they're just great people in the community. And as you all know, my wife and I have enjoyed going there so much into the Gloucester Matthews area that we bought a house there just 2 weeks ago. So the people there in that town are so nice, and life is short. So trying to decide what figures and what stuff to take down there. Wednesday I'll be heading down to the new house, and I've been so busy I never got to make the YouTube video of the boathouse. It's like 30 feet long and I think like 10-12 feet wide, and it has electricity, but it doesn't have heat or air conditioning. But I'm gonna try to see what I can do to turn that into the Virginia war game room. And one of the things I got to figure out is what wargaming stuff do I put there? Do I take the Box of Rebellion stuff or the Civil War stuff? I'm really thinking of the Civil War because I would be in Virginia, which you gotta admit, there was one heck of a lot of Civil War battles in Virginia. Yeah, there's quite a few in Pennsylvania too when you really think about it. Besides Gettysburg, you have all the surrounding small battles that involve the Gettysburg campaign, but you also had, the Chambersburg issues and Stuart going up burning that town. And there's a little battle in Fairfield. So a lot of little actions all through Pennsylvania from the Gettysburg campaign, and then some others that were smaller little, I guess, almost a skirmish. So now you don't know it, but I'm actually running out of figures, which is a really cool thing. Let me see if you can still see stuff. Yes, you can. Now I have to do some more chores for my wife. So at some point here, we will not get to flock these today. But we will be working on some other things. At least I don't think so. But happy life, or happy wife is a happy life, I think is the saying. So I'm hoping to have these all flocked, and I have some really neat homemade 54 millimeter caissons and limbers, or the limbers are BMC for the most part, but I also have some caissons. And so, and I'm also looking forward to helping out at Historicon with Jim Jim Purdy and his gigantic Pickett's Charge game. And I don't know if he'll want to use any of my figures in his game, but he's more than welcome to. He runs great 54mm games. So, and I think I mentioned this before, I'm not running games at Historicon because if my wife has a medical issue and I have to leave, I just can't deal with having to pack stuff up or irritate all you wargamers out there if you've signed up for my game and I hose you over because I'm not there. And last year I had a massive issue, and I gotta say that Shelby and her husband Steve, they were great. They took over and they ran their Fort William Henry game. Their Fort William Henry that Shelby built was, you know, just stunning, just incredible. And they're a great power couple in the world of wargaming. Oh, I don't know if they'll ever watch this video, but I do think they are. And you know, you don't see a lot of husband and wife couples. Bob and Cleo, and you know, Bob's not health-wise good, and Cleo passed away, 2 years ago. And if you don't know who they wore Hawaiian shirts matching. They're wonderful people. They used to come to the Gettysburg area gamers once a month or so and run games for us, which was quite the honor. And they had a red sports car convertible, and they would pull in my driveway, and the roof would be up full of all their boxes of figures and everything. It was funnier than heck, because you'd see this fancy red sports car. I think it was like a red Porsche or something, and they would and they would pull up and have all their stuff and terrain boards. Oh, so right now Bob hasn't been doing the best, and Cleo, of course, has passed away. But so this is where I'm at. Let's take a view here of our armies. One, two. Now we have, for 5-man units or 5 base regiments, 1, 2, 3. Well, it looks like I'm going to have about 16. Not bad. And not bad at all. And I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy with this. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, my tripod left leg just collapsed, but I'm not going to worry about editing this out. Heck, I don't even know if anyone really watched this entire thing. I'm going to pause the camera. I do want to show you. Well, you know what? Let's see if I can reach it. I have this new microphone. It's the clip-on. So I forgot I can actually leave the camera. So these were Chris Palmer figures. And they're in like a greatcoat. And I think they're really nifty. Also, I used a different flocking material on these. And you can't really tell that there are poker chips under them. Alright. Well, I have other chores to do for my wife. And so I have all these based. I need to flock them next. In the coming week or so, it's going to be Raven Feast. This coming weekend, I'll be doing a couple history videos in Virginia. My boathouse wargaming room. Maybe some of you give me some ideas of how I can air condition it. It has really no insulation, or if I'll just roast my butt in that thing in the in the summer. And then so we'll be making videos of the Williamsburg muster. I want to have a good relaxing time there, so I may only video my game and some highlights. And don't forget, please don't forget, every time you're watching one of my videos, you are supporting a small museum. It's my little way to give back to these historic sites that really need all the help they can get. So, Goober predicts, he doesn't predict anything, he's just a stuffed bear, but on the goofy side, we're going to say San Francisco 27 and Kansas City will be 30. So Kansas City 30, San Francisco 27, and a nail-biter football game for the Super Bowl. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and I have no idea if anyone will watch this, but thank you if you are. Bye-bye.